Nah, we're going right now.
Tommy.
All right, y'all. No doubt, man. Hey, we live, comedians chopping it up. We're gonna try this the second time. This time we got the technical difficulties taken care of. I got everybody on right now. On the screen, I got Mike Baldwin, comedian from. All right, he's actually in Wichita, Kansas right now, but originally
I'm still gonna say Kansas
from
City.
Missouri, right?
Kansas City, Missouri. Yes.
Kansas City, Missouri. Yes. I got Ty Riley on, originally from Ohio, is a comedian right here in Charlotte with me as well. And then Tom Dustin, who is from Massachusetts, but I don't know where you living at now, Tom. You like national? Where are you? In Hawaii?
It's
where?
the end of the world. I live in Key West, Florida.
Yeah, Hawaii, like I said. Yeah, so
yeah.
Stuff. I met y'all individually on the road, man, doing comedy. Tom, I think we met in Dayton, Ohio. We had the co-headlining gig that one weekend.
Yeah,
that was like a blast. We played some game y'all made up called Roof Ball over at somebody's house at some cookout.
I remember that.
Yeah. and then Mike Baldwin, we met in Boston at the Boston Comedy Festival. We shared an Airbnb. And
yeah, we did.
Didn't I hook that up for you guys?
You did hook that up.
You
made that happen. Yeah, you did hook that up. Because it was, I think I called you and I was like, hey, where should I stay? Because I don't want to be on the wrong side of town. And you were like, man, you like 5 hours away from getting a spot on my couch, but another comedian just took it. And then so you was like, you need to call Mike Baldwin because he was coming in town.
Oh, that's right.
The strange thing about that was, Mike, we met, we coordinated everything through text messaging, but I was flying in and you drove from, you drove from Missouri to Boston.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You pulled up right as I was walking up to the Airbnb.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that.
that was crazy.
And I probably left a day and a half earlier than you did.
All right, so I'm gonna start the whole conversation with what some people might not know about comedians and the travel that's required, the driving that's involved with what we do. Like, you got to be insane, number one. Or truly love what we do to do as much driving as we do.
That's if you have a license and didn't lose it to a DUI, right? Then you fly a lot. You fly a lot. The busing system in this country is pretty decent. You fly, you bus. You get an opening act that's really hungry, that's got a nice car, that keeps it
That's
clean.
what you do.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, so I know tons of comedians who just had an opening act that was their driver for people that lost their license.
I've gotten work because I had a car, especially when I was living in New York.
Right. So if you live in New York,
people are like, "What, you got a car? Like, you can drive?"
Yeah.
Oh man, you wanna open for me at this thing, and you gotta drive though. And it's like, yeah,
Mike, I've done that same thing, but I've taken it a step further because I had options. Like in Boston, there was so many comics that were willing to drive you to a gig for 5 minutes of stage time. I had options, so I'd go, hey, you got a car? When's the last time you had it detailed? Like, when's the last time you had it cleaned up? And because I knew certain kids had messy cars, and I was like, here's the deal: you can have the gig, $50, but you have to have your car professionally detailed before I get in it.
Are you a Hollywood the dude's car? That's hilarious.
The kid that won the Boston Comedy Festival a couple years after you guys were there is the kid I'm talking about. His name's Peter Martin, and he's just a fucking slob. But I used to.
Did he detail his car?
He certainly fucking did. And
did he take it somewhere, or did he do it himself? Did he meticulously clean his own car?
No, I think he did actually take it somewhere and had the $65 quickie detail or whatever.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
All right,
the car needed it, so I did him a favor.
That reminds me. So Todd, do you remember doing Jacksonville, North Carolina? And us taking that car ride from the hotel over to the one gig that Friday night, and then we came back to Ducks. You
I
remember
tried
the
to
car?
forget
Remember the
about
car
it,
we was in with
Yeah.
the 50 cans of Rockstar power drink or whatever.
Oh yeah, because
We're like kicking cans all over the place. Like, dude, how are we scrunching up in this car for?
I don't know how and we didn't get pulled over, right?
Nah, we didn't. Nah, we
But
didn't.
we thought we were. Didn't we go through like I don't know, dude. I black out so much that happens on the road until somebody tells me. I'm like, oh yeah, I was there. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that month until you said something about
That
it. I forgot
reminded
about ducks
me
and Jackson.
when he said detail in the car, because I think a comics car might be next to. That's probably one of the junkiest cars that you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, it was.
I beg to differ because my car is very clean. I'm very high in the personality trait of orderliness.
Well, you live in it like we do. Like I keep mine pretty clean too because it's basically my apartment. Like last year,
yeah, I hang
2,000 miles or something.
I hang a grocery bag over the shifter thing, and that's my trash.
Grandma taught me that.
Yeah, I think an ex-girlfriend or somebody taught me that, but
Yeah,
I
it was
do
my
it
grandma.
all the time.
It works. It's so nice.
I hang
Oh,
a
that's right,
grocery
you're-
bag over. I hang a grocery bag over my shifter, but that's the stuff I want to keep. Everything else in the car is trash.
Oh man! All
grocery
right,
bag of drugs.
So wait a minute. So
It's
So-
your car purse.
all right. So Todd said that he had to do Zoom. He's done Zoom shows since the pandemic. Mike, I saw you did shows the last couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, I did. What are we in now? July. The first show that I did was like the first week in June. I did Kansas City, and they did the whole like social distancing, like half full, 6 feet apart, masks and all that shit. And it was kind of what you were saying before we went live, and that was like the people don't really give a shit. The people that are willing to go at that point aren't people that are concerned about anything, you know?
Right.
And then a week or two after that, then I did Tampa, Florida. I did Side Splitters there. And it was, I mean, you know, the stories that were coming out of Florida were basically a bunch of people that were like, dude, we've been out and we're fine. So the people in Florida were like, fucking whatever, let's just have a comedy show and you know, be normal. And so it was great.
Yeah,
Like,
so I did mine. I didn't sell any merch, and
dude, I was hugging people and shit. Fuck it.
Yeah, you wilding out. You wilding out, man. I switched microphones. I did everything. Like I was not trying to catch that.
Yeah,
I'm too nervous, too anxious to do this right now. I want to go back, but
go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry for interrupting.
no, you're good. I'm not good at this shit. I don't know when to talk. I'm like, it's
We're
like double
all not good
dutch.
at
It's
it.
like I don't know when to jump in on the jump rope.
Oh,
I'm just gonna stand here and look stupid.
Nah, you good,
Ah,
man.
But then
Nah,
it interrupts
so
someone.
Todd, you saying you were actively pursuing trying to
No,
get
it's like the least amount of emails I've ever sent in 3 months. I haven't had an oil change since this happened. Everything's backwards. I don't know. It's all weird. It's all different. I feel like a different person. I work like a day job now for a minute, but I won't do
isn't
shows.
that weird?
Like I haven't had a day job in 6 years, but now I'm like, dude, I gotta do something. But then I'm like, now I'm halfway through that. I'm like, I would rather drive 7 hours for a one-nighter right now than do this shit.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
I miss it, but I don't know when to go back or what to do yet with it.
Go
So,
back immediately.
What have you done with your time?
First, the first part of it, all I did was drink and be depressed, and then I quit drinking and started I didn't do much.
You quit drinking?
Yeah, I had to.
Completely?
Yeah, it got bad.
Nice. Way to go.
This is like my first AA meeting, basically.
How many days?
But yeah, 43.
Dude, that's fucking...
I talked about that on a podcast, and I was trying to explain to people like we all work together with people. We know people's vices. We know what they're dealing with. And for something to be taken away from you, like comedy, like we never thought comedy would get taken away from us, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's taken away from you, and then you don't see when this thing is going to end or when you see yourself back on stage, and then is your material even relevant anymore?
Right, it's gone.
We've never been this long without being on stage, right? And I'm like, some people won't fall off the edge. Like some people are really not going to be able to deal with it. There's going to be friends of ours that don't do comedy anymore.
I've been telling people lately, I've been saying to people, they're like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I used to be a comedian before the world ended.
Right.
I'm with you. I said the same thing. I said, I don't even feel like a comic anymore.
And
I do like it.
The robbery anytime I enter any store.
Mask on, right? Yeah, but so Tom, you haven't done anything.
Nothing. I mean, I've done a couple of just like shit like this, Zoom shows, but nothing with an audience. Nothing with an audience.
Yeah.
We got an audience right now, baby.
We
Live.
do. And I'll be honest with you, man, like individually, all three of you guys like are strong. Like I would work with all three of you guys, and like all your styles are different. But what I tell you is for y'all to say, for anybody to say, I don't know if I want to do comedy or I used to be a comedian, it's always there. It's just what's going to motivate it to get you back. When I did this show, I felt lost. Like I was on stage just all over the place, and I couldn't remember setups. I couldn't remember punchlines. I was on stage just saying punchlines at one point, and it was just like it started coming together. But by the time it came together, it was like, all right, I'm at 45 minutes. Let me just get off the stage. I wasn't trying to leave with a big ending. I wasn't doing none of that.
No. Everybody's gonna have to ramp back up.
Huh?
Were you doing like your old stuff, or do you have like a ton of new COVID?
I was doing newer stuff that I was working on before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I would maybe throw in maybe 2 or 3 bits from something that I used to do that just took up time.
Right.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
It wasn't all coming together. I mean, you obviously going to take time to talk about the pandemic and talk about Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff. Whatever's going on, you're going to talk about that.
Right. What happened with Black Lives Matter?
All right.
that was gonna be my banner, but I didn't want to be too much.
All right.
I have it. It's just not up.
Oh, that didn't make it down. That didn't make it down to Key West, huh?
No.
So obviously, you got to talk about the obvious, but I mean, I'll give you an example. Like Mike Baldwin, like your style is basically to sit there and almost have a conversation with people. So I know yours can go left a lot sooner if the crowd is not fully on board with what you're talking about. Like I've seen like clips that you put up. You put way more clips up too since the pandemic than I ever seen you put up before.
Yeah, well, it's all topical stuff though that I got to get rid of. I can't do fucking, what are these people protesting about material 2 weeks from now? I can't even do it today, but I could do it. I did it that first day when I was like, why is it 99% white people that are out there protesting for Black lives? And the Black people are like, dude, we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that everything's fine, of course.
No, but I'll tell you what the most important part about that is even when the protests were going on, the difference that we saw from Black people was we did have white people out there with us this time. Like before, it wasn't that way. You know what I'm saying? So now we kind of look at it and go, there could be a change coming. I don't really see a difference, but there could be a change coming because now some people are really like, I see it now, finally. But there's still not enough people to be like, okay, I see it. You know what I mean? So there could be a huge change. It could not be. We could go right back to where we were 6 months from now. It could be a whole nother incident that happens 6 months from now. Same type of deal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
statistics, it happens every couple of months.
It does. I mean, it does. But then it's like the consequences might change. Like it might become a norm for a police officer to go to jail, or it might become a norm for a police officer to lose their job immediately, and then whoever was involved go to jail. Like that becomes the norm, then there might be change.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right now, there's no consequence. There's none. You know what I mean? It's like, boom, Jay Bliss is dead. Everybody like, oh, let's march for 3 weeks.
Well, I don't know if there's no consequence. The guys are going to jail for the rest of their lives. Not only those 4, but the guy in Atlanta, the cop in Atlanta, they're gonna go to jail forever. I mean, that is ultimately that is just. I mean,
they could, but then again, the court system they might not. I mean, it's
true.
Do you really believe that after all that has happened, do you really believe that this
Yes.
guy's gonna walk?
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, the guy that was kneeling, I think he might, because they're trying to go after murder too.
Yeah.
And that means that he's got to prove, or they have to prove that he knew that he was killing him
Yeah.
Right.
when he killed him. And
And that's
I don't think they'll be able to prove that. They can just prove that he killed him, but the cop can just be like, dude, it was an accident.
Yeah.
So they should have gone after murder 3 and given him like 10 years. And at least that would have been something. But now they're going to go after murder 2, and he's probably going to get off. And that's what. And,
I mean,
and then there's going to be more fucking.
There's always a way around for them to be able to get off. And the thing about it is, they still haven't arrested the people that killed Breonna Taylor, and they came in her house when she was sleeping, shot her.
But when the entire country watches a video and everyone agrees that the guy killed the guy, he's not gonna get off. That's crazy. There's no.
It shouldn't.
Would you
high profile
you can say that, Tom.
anyone want?
I'm going a different direction with this. When it's a high profile case, they're more likely to get, like, these cases become such a big deal. Big time lawyers come in, big things happen, then all of a sudden but if it was just like an everyday thing, if someone did something like that and it was automatically going to jail for the rest of his life and didn't have to have a video, then you wouldn't have a high profile case. It would just be like, boom, this asshole killed someone, he's going to jail. That's what it should happen. It shouldn't have to have all this other shit to build up to it, to make it a high profile case to the point where they might get off because some lawyer wants to come in and be a fucking superhero or something that normally wouldn't even be involved and shouldn't
But
be.
there's no.
Like,
But
I shouldn't even know the
was,
fucking guy's name. He should be in jail already for the rest of his life. And now we have to see something horrific like this for some people to realize the magnitude of what's been going on for way too long, basically.
my point was that Mike you said that there's a chance that this guy, the Derek Chauvin, could get off.
I think there's a chance.
Well, are you willing to put money where your fucking mouth is? Because I'll bet you everything I own. That
Only if you'll bet.
The thing about it is this: it's not. We saw what he did. That's not a point that we don't argue that point. However, what they charge him with and whether he can get off is how the court system works. He can get off on the technicality because they can try to prove, just like the OJ thing. There was a reasonable doubt that he didn't do it. And it all relies on that. If he walks, is he a dead man? Maybe. You understand what I'm saying? But we didn't think.
Watch the video, and the entire country agrees that that guy is guilty of killing George Floyd.
But also the people on the jury can't see the video.
How, in what world do you believe that this Derek Chauvin, the guy that knelt on the other guy's neck, how, in what world do you believe that he really, really has a chance of?
Because you
don't want me to answer that question. You don't want me to answer that question.
I'll let Jay have this one.
In this world, this is the world. In these United States, I can see him getting off. And be like, and it'll be like, all right, well, that's what we expected. Like
I'll give you 3-1 on your money. Anyone that wants to bet, I'm a gambler. Anyone that wants to bet me, I'll give you 3-1.
I don't have to bet. I've seen it happen enough times.
I'm not.
As soon as I bet,
I'm not going to bet that he's going to get off.
Like the spread. As soon as I pick a game, the game goes crazy.
I only bet on
this.
Hold on. I mean, you guys go ahead, but my phone's dying.
Nah, I feel what you're saying, Tom. I mean, I understand.
You should be right, Tom.
You should be right.
You should be right. You should win that bet every time.
I've seen this story happen a number of times where it doesn't go in that way. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not 100%. It never is.
On this one, I would say it is. On this one, I would say it's 100%. I'd risk my mother.
So.
Dude, didn't he have like 9 times the lethal limit of fucking what's the Chinese thing? Fentanyl or something in his system?
COVID?
Like
COVID?
No, not COVID.
What's you asked what?
He had
like with the
They already
with
put
that,
like four different drugs online and some, yeah, they're like, maybe he had COVID and all that stuff. They're definitely already trying to build that.
So,
and
yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. I'm not using that as my defense, but I'm saying, like, Tom,
Lawyers-
that's a way that this guy could get off, is shit like that.
Yeah,
Be like, look, like,
lawyers have
that's-
their ways of trying to get people off.
Right.
And all I'm saying is it could be a technicality. It doesn't mean it's right, but there could be a
Right.
technicality.
No one's going to argue they didn't kill
I
the
don't
guy.
believe the people in power would allow a technicality to even go, because they know what it would do to the American public. No, like 99% of the fucking population watch that video and goes, that's wrong. That guy should go to fucking jail. Now, if they let him out on a technicality, what do you think would happen?
Yeah,
It would be
People are
More
gonna,
rights. More
I'll
rights.
tell you what's gonna happen. It's gonna make people think that mail-in voting is a better idea than going outside, and then it'll
You bet.
and
You're
then
going to
it'll
keep coming
allow
back
the-
to that mail-in voting.
That's nothing
every
going.
5
That's
minutes
not. That's
almost.
not. It has nothing to do with what's going on.
No.
what
I'm
it's
just
all about. It's all about the election.
No, I don't. I don't think this has anything to do with that either. They're gonna politicize it, yes, but at the end of the day, it took them too long to arrest the dude. Number two, he's in jail right now, but those other three guys are out.
Yeah, one was buying
Yeah.
Oreos, which I
Yeah.
thought was.
I mean, it's like
of all the foods to buy at that time, the dude's buying Oreo. It was weird. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like one thing that you could easily
Yeah,
get for a
you-
couple packs of smokes in jail is a packet of Oreos.
that's his guilty pleasure.
Yeah, he's just gonna go get
Right. Right.
He's gonna let someone put a knee on someone for 8.5 minutes and then go get snacks.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
it's.
you
I
didn't
mean,
stop anybody.
my whole thing is, I'm a let it play out, and then we'll reconvene that conversation once it happens. I'm gonna bring Tom Dustin back on personally and say, Tom, what was you saying? And then we'll
He's gonna be
just
doing,
go.
he's gonna be
we'll
doing
just go
this
back and forth.
he's gonna be doing it from his car if he loses everything on this bet.
Right.
I want one record that said no one took the bet. Because
No, I'm not. That's because as
I
soon as
know
I
you
bet on
won't-
it, I'll lose everything.
I
Nah.
know.
Yeah.
college- There's
But
no.
see, but the way the world has put me in my brain is I always think that there is a chance with a high profile case and a jury that can't the people they select for the jury couldn't have seen the video. They're not allowed to. They have to have no idea. Somewhere they're going to find 8 to 12 people that don't have any idea what happened to put them on a jury. I don't understand how that happens
I
either.
feel like, yeah,
There's
all
no
gonna
way
have to be
now.
like my
That could have
grandma
happened
and
back
shit.
in the day when there wasn't social media. But now, how are you going to find 12 people that? Well, I
I mean,
don't know.
that
what
did-
happened.
my
see it?
my
I mean-
mom and my grandma.
Yeah, I mean, they'll
Either
find
one
them.
of
I
them.
mean, they'll find the people
Right.
that haven't seen it. But I mean, it's still highly publicized. It's still going to overtake everything. We won't see this trial until 2021.
I don't-
wondered if it'd
I
be
don't know
that
that-
early.
I don't know.
We'll see the trial before the election.
I don't know that having seen or not seen the video would necessarily take you out of the running, because they're gonna show the video during trial.
Yeah, that should be the first time that you see it, though. is
Right.
during the trial.
That's
So that
gonna
you don't
a
come in
really
with any
hard-
preconceived notions. I'm just speaking like how these lawyers are going to talk.
Well, how unintelligent is someone nowadays
Right.
if they haven't seen that fucking video?
Right, and those are the people that are on the jury that are doing the things that might ruin your bet.
Right.
True. Yeah.
Right.
They're like, I just like hunting. I kill
Yeah,
my
like,
own food,
don't-
and I don't use social media.
It's my
And you're like,
first time
oh
on jury
God,
duty. I'm 50
Your Honor, I moved to strike this juror.
So how much writing have you guys done?
Next
None.
to
Nothing.
Oh man,
nothing.
I do.
Um,
I
hey,
write
I,
every week.
everything that all the videos that I've put out since all of this started has mostly been winged on stage.
Right.
Just talking about coronavirus and shit like that. But I know that I won't be able to use any of that material, so I just threw it all online, you know?
Right.
My
that
process
was-
is different because my writing process has always been an idea, and then I always had a stage somewhere to go take the idea and then finish it. You know,
Right. Yeah.
that's what bothered me the most is because, like, yeah, I got these ideas, but I don't have anywhere to go. I've always had even if I wasn't working a club weekend or I did go do a bar, some place, somewhere to go to work out the idea. Now it's just a bunch of ideas that I haven't been able to do in front of a crowd to know what it's going to be yet. So
Right.
right,
Do 'em
but
all
it's
right
not
now.
done. What's that?
Do them all right now.
A bit?
Do a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do
I
a
did
bit.
these Zoom shows, but it was just like me yelling for 15 minutes, and I was drunk every time, so that it was just like all quarantine stuff, and I don't even remember that. I don't even remember my old shit before this. I don't even remember the stuff I did on Zoom shows. It just feels
Hey,
like
just if you guys do shows, just so you know, I do coronavirus stuff.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, that's
you
off
guys-
limits. Right.
you guys can't do any of that.
I get you. Hey, so listen, so Tom, you're down in Key West. I know you book a room down there.
Yeah.
Um.
Big news this week on the room too.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You're hearing it here first. So we've been doing this room down here for about 3 years. Mike, I think you've done it, right?
I have, and we had a great time. We went out on a sailboat together.
Killer. Yeah, fun time. So the room that we did it was at a place called the Bottle Cap, and we separated from them. And we just signed the lease today. We have our own space.
Nice.
Closer to Mallory Square, 1 block from Duval Street. It's in the heart, like kind of the heart of everything, and it's pretty awesome. And we're just waiting to figure out what we can do when we can open, because they just recently reclosed all the bars down here. But we might be considered a cultural thing or a theatrical thing, and we might be able to do it with proper social distancing and whatever. So we might be able. But so I don't have a real start date, but I would say sometime soon we're going to be rebooking shows, and we're going to be able to go more nights a week because it's our place. You know, we can do whatever we want.
So what was it before?
We were basically just producing shows at a venue, at a function room of a bar.
So it was a one-nighter or?
No, we eventually got it up to 4. We were doing an open mic for the locals, and then we do Thursday, Friday, and some Saturdays. But every week was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we do some Saturdays for bigger acts or whatever. And yeah, it's been awesome. That's kind of the reason I moved down. But then I moved down here, and we had all this momentum, and we were getting great acts, and the club was building, and then fucking the world fell apart.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Have you gotten any PPP money or fucking any disaster relief money?
Hell yeah.
The PUA.
I got the PPP.
Yeah,
It's
me too.
a forgivable loan, I guess.
Oh no.
Yeah. How much
got
did you get?
Huh?
How much did you get?
I don't know yet, because I didn't. It just got approved. They called me and said it's approved. They'll send me the paperwork. Blah blah.
Okay.
A buddy of ours, meet Mike Cronin. I think he got 20 grand or something.
Oh well, he makes more money than I do.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
I got $2,084, but it was exactly what I needed at that time. So
yeah,
Right.
anything will help.
and
Yeah,
then I
it
also
does.
I filled them out. I gotta get do you have your tax? I did get my taxes back to file, I think, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what state you're in too.
Yeah,
Which is
it
fine.
does.
Which is everything now. Everything depends on what state you're in. Other states won't let other people from other states come in. It's freaking weird. They
Right.
had people with an out-of-state license plate they were filtering people over into a rest area, and if they had an out-of-state license plate, they were telling them to go back. That's
Where was this at?
Apocalypse. I think it was down in Florida, but you never know.
Huh.
Yeah, exactly right. That
Yeah.
was my county. I live in Monroe County in the Florida Keys, so it's the island chain that's just off of the tip of the dick of Florida,
Right.
below Miami. So we shut down the Keys early on, and until about 2 weeks ago, we only had 100 cases in the entire Florida Keys. 100 cases, 3 deaths. Then when they opened the fucking Keys, they opened the roadblock, but we did have a roadblock that was turning people away. When they opened it, now the number has, it's like 2.5 times that, like overnight. So, because we let in the people from Miami. The people from Miami had the highest cases, the highest number of cases and shit.
Still
So
clubbing probably.
Yeah, and no, I mean, they come down here. The people that have come to visit, because we were closed to tourists for like 3 months, and it was kind of awesome, even though everyone was not making money. But it was kind of awesome. And then when they reopened it, no one's adhering to any of the mandates or the policies, the social distance masks. No one's doing any of it. And people, they just had to close a bunch of bars around here because people started getting sick. And we didn't have any cases. We had 100 cases in 75,000 people that live in the Florida Keys, 100 cases. And now fucking thank you, Miami.
But here's the thing.
Sorry.
It's no,
right.
because it's the same thing when they showed that picture of, what was it? Maryland, Ocean City, Maryland. And they showed the boardwalk that first weekend. There's like that first holiday weekend. And there was hundreds of people out there. I saw 3 masks in that whole picture that they took. And I'm going, you know, the numbers are going to continue to go up. And then like some people just have the idea of just go, everybody get it, and then see what happens. But I'm going, that's not how it's going to work. Like that's not going to make it go away.
If you think HPV is bad, this is worse. It's just because that's all I used to see. Like at spring break, I was like, oh, there's going to be a lot of STDs. Now I'm like, oof, how many of these people are going to get COVID now?
Well, I said that on stage. I told people, like, people are volunteering information. Like, I had it. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is closer to AIDS than it is cancer. Like, you shouldn't be telling people that you got it. Like, I mean, it's not like a it's not like a hero story. Like, yay, I beat it. Like, nah, dude, like you need to keep that quiet, man. Go on about your business and walk away.
But if you get it and it goes away, then you won't get it again. So it kind of is.
Supposedly. You're not supposed to get jackpots again, but I know people that get shingles. Like you're not supposed to get like
we talk about shingles.
Like what I'm saying is
talk about shingles.
You can tell me that you're not gonna get it again, but they don't know.
No, nobody knows anything. That's where I'm at now. I'm like that old guy. Like, nobody knows nothing. I'm like 900 years old. It's like
every other disease. Then if you get it, you won't get it again. That's what a vaccine does. It gives you those antibodies.
No, Mike,
supposedly.
The flu
comes back every year. Why are people susceptible to getting the flu every year?
Because it's a different strain every year.
It's the flu virus, and it mutates.
So it's not the flu virus, it's the coronavirus.
I think the most recent thing I read was that you would develop a short-term immunity, but once the virus mutates again, you can get it again.
Well, yeah, as long as it mutates into a virus that makes people sick and fucking kills people. But there's a thousand coronaviruses. The common cold is a coronavirus. Like there are like every coronavirus is one that doesn't kill us except for this one. So in order for it to mutate and you get it again by a mutated strain, it would have to be like an astronomically crazy small chance that it would mutate into something else that would then kill people also. Like if it's going to mutate, then it's going to mutate towards something that kills less people, because that keeps the virus itself like thriving longer. That's why the common cold is still around, because you get it, you don't get that sick, and you walk around and spread it around and shit. But if it killed you, then if you just dropped dead immediately, then you wouldn't give it to anybody. And the virus like uses that knowledge to fucking decide how it behaves and shit.
It's definitely
uses that knowledge
talking that the virus has a personality.
Well, I mean,
I get what you're saying. You just took it like
gravity,
to a whole nother lofty level that
I got you. Right, that's the mind of a comedian, man. Right. I get it. The diabolical virus is coming up with a plan. Like, yeah.
I mean, if I think about it like this, like viruses existed for billions of years before we did. So the odds that we randomly evolve are okay, but the odds that the viruses decided to slowly build something that would carry them around and fucking spread them around and shit, and then they made like mammals and then slowly eventually us, that's interesting.
So is this what killed the dinosaurs?
Maybe so.
I mean, the Big Bang could have been a virus. Like, you just don't know. Like, the thing about it is, I talk about this virus or this strand of virus they talk about, it was made. It was a virus, but then it was mutated
Altered.
through science, right? And it was something that was created versus something that was caught.
So
Yeah.
it was a manufactured virus.
Absolutely, I believe that. I believe it. I believe it was a form of warfare. Like, I don't believe it was something that was just sporadically happen.
So why do you think they did that? Do you think it was China?
I think China was blamed, but that don't necessarily mean it was China.
So you blame Trump.
I don't even blame Trump. I can't blame Trump because Trump hasn't even done anything to help it. Like, to even get the United States numbers down.
I mean, we lost like 0.5% of the number of people that they thought we might lose in the beginning. So that's pretty good. But
oh yeah, all those numbers in the beginning were, it was
I
just
don't- I don't-
melee. It was just crazy.
Listen, I'm gonna use a sports analogy. Statistics are for losers. Like, that's for the people that losing team that goes, oh, we have more first downs, or we had more touchdowns, we had more yards, but we still lost the game. Like, you can give me numbers and tell me where we are statistically and stuff like that. All I'm saying is,
How do you explain
there's people checking the fuck out that didn't have to. There's people that
But
died in
that's
2020 that did not have to.
Jay,
that's
what about
still you using numbers, though. That's still you counting something.
I'm not
So-
counting. I'm just saying in general, there are people in 2020 that died that did not have to.
So that's an amount of people. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's tough to argue and say, okay, don't use your numbers, but listen to my numbers.
All right, so Mike, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm not going to dig into numbers. I'm just looking at a very high level and a very blanket statement that basically says, because of this is the end result. And the end result is things could have been done that prevented some people from dying. Obviously, there was some casualties, right?
That's true. But if we're using blanket statements, then way less people died than would have died if the president, for example, didn't do things that he did to prevent more people from dying.
You mean that basically what you're saying is the government shutting us down would have kept us from killing each other for being stupid and doing all the shit on our own? Because that's what we're doing now, is we're going, there's no government, there's no law. There's no law keeping us here, so we're going to go have a party.
No, I mean, I hear what he's saying. Like, the fact that the government did somewhat of a shutdown has saved some lives.
Protected us from ourselves.
Right, but then there's people that don't give a shit that it's basically causing it to go up anyway. Yeah. I mean,
that's the herd mentality, though. And if you assume that vaccines would work, then you have to assume that getting the disease would cause you to not get the disease again. So based on that, then you do want people to slowly get it. It's not going to go away. This was never about making this disease go away. It was only about not overwhelming the hospital system. That's what we were worried about in the beginning, where so many people getting this at the same time that we wouldn't even have hospital beds for most of them. And that hasn't happened anywhere in America. Like, people are still going to get this the same way people die of pneumonia and the flu every year. Like, some people are going to die from this, and there's nothing that you can do about those people who happen to get the flu and die every year. Like, yeah, you could have protected them. You could have washed your hands one more time before you handed them their cheeseburger or whatever, but that's just living life or whatever, like, most people that get this are going to be fine. And that's why the numbers are going up more right now, because people that, the way it was 2 months ago, was the only people that were getting tested were people that were laying in hospital beds. And a lot of those people didn't even have COVID. So those numbers were low. Now they're testing fucking 20-year-olds and people that go out and party and shit. And a lot of these people are asymptomatic, but they're still testing positive. And another interesting thing is that they're not counting individual people who test positive. They're counting the number of positive cases, which means if the same person goes and gets tested 10 times, then that's counts as 10 towards the total number. So when you hear that there's fucking 20,000 new cases of COVID, then 10 of those could be from the same person.
Mike, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Let me just get. Have you also heard that they're counting? Sorry, a bus went by. Have you also heard that they're counting almost every death as COVID related?
That too. So I mean, like I said, that's why I told you those numbers. I don't really count that. I mean, somebody can die from cancer and they say it was COVID. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. But then the only thing I disagree with the statement that you made, Mike, is most people that get this are going to be fine. Because from what I'm understanding and from what I'm reading and things like that, you know, people aren't the same after they get the virus. Like some people, like they lose their sense of smell, it never comes back. Some people remain lethargic, like they haven't been able to get their energy back, things like that. Like you're not going to be the same. Like I don't feel like anybody that's gotten this, and I know comedians that's gotten it. So I mean, I can actually go to them and talk to them about how have you felt after you got this virus? Like, are you the same? Are you worse? Is there things that you're still dealing with? Like I can have those conversations. They can tell me, no, I'm not the same.
It just seems like a big game of dodgeball to me, of like germs and shit. Like you're just trying not to be, you're dodging it. You're trying not to get it and still live your life and still have some money in the bank.
Which in turn just makes your immune system weaker, really, when you're like, oh, I don't want to, I'm not going to let any bugs inside me, and I'm going to wash everything off of everything always.
We're supposed to be exposed to germs. We're supposed to be exposed to each other.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, with the schools closed, that's where you get most of your germs from kids.
Dirty little
but
bastards.
Then they found out that most of that they've only seen like a case or two of an adult who actually got COVID from a kid. Like kids don't even get it well enough to transfer it to somebody else.
Let the schools open back up.
How many adults are hanging out with like a lot of kids?
Me, I am.
Teachers,
except for Tom.
Gym teachers. Teachers.
All of the parents.
Tom's going to be hustling these kids for the 3-1 bet here in a minute. He's going to take everything.
Right. I bet you 3-1 that one of you kids are going to get it before we leave this playground.
3-1. If you touch the monkey bars, parents are going to be pissed.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's an interesting debate. I mean, there's
all we're doing is debating this.
Well, I mean, it happens. I mean, like I said, this is no different than any green room conversation. This literally could have happened in Columbus. You know what I mean? Like, and it's always going to happen.
No,
this is what we talk about between dick jokes.
I heard that you're not welcome back in Columbus.
Who's that?
Which one? I was like, I didn't know. I thought you maybe you were talking to me too. I was like, oh shit.
This literally could have happened in Columbus. I heard that.
Welcome back. It's funny. I haven't. The last time I was there, I haven't been back. But I don't think anything bad happened last time I was there. That's the thing.
I immediately go, what did I do? I didn't know you were talking to him. Like, if anybody on this thing gets banned from somewhere, it would be me. I don't know.
Well, all right. So let me ask that question. What club have you been banned from? I've been banned from I'm not allowed at the Jacksonville Comedy Zone.
Ducks?
No, the Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, Florida?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why? Too good?
No, it wasn't. No,
just too good. I'm just pumping you.
I had a disagreement with management.
But would you throw your 1970s TV out their shitty window into the parking lot?
Oh, you have been there then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Such a nice pool.
Yeah. So I'm banned from that club. I'm not allowed to work that club.
I really think there's something I don't know about that I just don't respond more than I got banned, but I don't know.
Right, I know.
I just think that there's some that they see my email and they go, yeah, that's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Well, banned is different than never coming back. Banned is different than never coming back.
That's true.
Just not having you back.
Like, all right, send me your avails. And then, as the door shuts, they're shaking their head like, you're never coming back.
All right, so in that instance, I guess it would be never coming. I would say banned. Because here's the thing. If my name gets brought up, they're like, no. So that's like a thing.
I wonder though.
At least you know, though. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew when I left. I knew I wasn't going back. Yeah, I knew I wasn't coming back because it was more like me and him was going back and forth. I was like, dude, like F you, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the story? What's the?
So I was there for 2 weeks. I was there for a 2-week gig right near Christmas. Like they give you 2 straight weeks at a gig, and you stay, stay weeks or whatever.
Well, you're clean then.
And we were working 2 weeks straight, and he kept saying, hey, I got a couple comps for you guys, tell people to come out or whatever. So we get there to the last show right before Christmas, and he said it's only 1 show tonight. And I'm like, I got comps coming for both shows. He was like, it's only 1 show. How many comps you got? I said, I got 10 for the first show, 10 for the second. He's like, I'm not giving out 20 comps. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was 2 shows. I was like, 20 people probably not coming, man. I'll probably need about 14. He's like, I'm not giving out 14 comps. And I was like, all right, if it's sold out, don't worry about it. It wasn't even close to being sold out. So I'm like, so you're going to turn away 20 people that wasn't coming out tonight. So the lady, he walked away, and then the girl was there, and I told him to let everybody in. So I told everybody just to go in.
And they weren't paying you on the door though anyway, were
they?
They
Didn't pay on the door. So it was 4 separate tables. They all averaged about $170, $180 a table, like with food and drinks. Right. And I'm like, look how much money you made. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you weren't going to make that money. And then so he got into the argument talking about, I told you don't give out these comps, da, 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 da. And I'm like, man, whatever, dude. You made money, man. Get out of my face. And that was the end of it.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to one up you, but I got one.
Do it though.
I was really fucking banned, like top of the banned list. Like it was a confrontation. It was.
Which club?
It was called Dick Doherty's Comedy Club, Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault. It was in Boston. Yeah, you guys,
nice.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, Mike and Jay, I think you both performed there, or at least hung out there. It was where a lot of the after parties were. I can't remember which year you were there, but so anyway, it was my home club, and one night I'm hosting the open mic, and as the host, you always got to throw on one of your buddies. And I threw on my buddy Joe List. And he goes up and fucking kills. He gets off stage. And then I see the owner's wife, Dick Doherty's wife. Her name's Kathy Doherty. And she's yelling. She's yelling at Joe List in the corner, pointing her finger in his face. You're never going to make it. This is going back 10, 12, 15 years. You're never going to make it. You were too dirty. You were they didn't like you and blah, blah, blah. And I was hosting, so I saw all this happening, and I had to go back on stage. And I said to the audience, I was like, hey, did you remember the guy Joe List I just had up here? And they were like, woo, he's fucking awesome. Bring him back. And I was like, was anyone offended or think he was too dirty? And everyone was like, no, he was fucking awesome. Woo. And I was like, would you agree with me that anyone that did think he was too dirty or offensive, anyone that thought he wasn't funny, a fucking moron who knows nothing about comedy? And the audience is confused at that point. They're like, what's going on? And then she jumps over a table to call her husband. And then there was a big, as soon as the show ended, I said, thank you, good night. I put the mic in. She goes, you're fucking done in this town. You're fired. Like she was Mitzi Shore. You're fucking done in this town. And all your dates are gone. And you'll never fucking blah, 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 blah. Long story short is Dick Doherty's comedy clubs are currently now out of business. They've been out of business 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And Dick Doherty called Comedy Key West, the club I book. He called Comedy Key West, and I got his email, and I fucked around with him for a while. Where where he was like, hey, I'm interested in coming down and headlining your club. And I was like, well, I can give you a tent on the beach and $25 for the weekend.
Oh, man. You need a 47-minute video.
He trying to get booked after all of that happened.
Huh?
He called you to try to get booked after all of that happened.
He didn't know
it was you.
Oh, he didn't know you were booking it?
Right.
No, he had no idea. So I just I pretended I was someone else in the emails, and I just strung him along for a while, telling him I could squeeze him in to the schedule.
I would have said yes to the tent and the $25 and fucking and just tried to sell T-shirts.
The tent did sound nice.
Hang out in Key West.
Yeah, right.
Tent's probably better than some of the hotels now, especially after all this COVID shit. I think about the places I stayed doing this. I'm like, good God, I probably had it 10 years ago.
Dude, I mean, yeah. I mean, some of the accommodations, or if we can call them that, on the road are just
Yeah, it
ridiculous.
sounds nicer than they are.
But I end up getting my home.
Good story, by the way, Tom. Everything sounds better in a Boston. I just like people getting mad in a Boston accent. It's so much cooler.
Well,
The fucking Don in this town.
You'll never work again.
Never.
Never in this town, right? That's funny as hell. So you have a story, Mike, of getting banned or kicked out?
Oh yeah.
Will you get along with everybody?
I tend to get along with most people, but I was quite a drinker there for a while, and I had been watching a lot of Louis C.K. like leading up to this, and I was doing a show where like I had to go up cold and feature. I was like the MC / feature. It was in South Dakota. It was like a Yoder gig, and it ran for maybe a year. And there were like 6 people in the room, like a drunk girl and her drunk boyfriend right in the front row, and then 4 people that were like in the very back of the room, just lining the back wall. So I'm already pissed that they like didn't seat these people in the front, like seat them at least, like make it a comedy show.
Yeah,
right.
And then I'm mad because I'm at the point still where I'm like, I only know my material and I don't know anything else once I'm up there. So like I'm doing these jokes and this drunk girl is just like, he sucks to her boyfriend. And so I'm like, I'm trying like every like heckler line or whatever. Yeah, hey, this ain't TV. I can hear you too, sweetie. And she's like, like she doesn't care. And then I'm finally like, hey, can you just like please be quiet? You know, like just let me. I've got like 12 minutes left. Let me get through this, and we'll fucking. You know, I'm trying everything. Nothing. She's still just like, I just want him to stop talking. And I'm like, isn't there somebody that works here? Like nobody works here to do anything.
Froze it up.
Yeah, so I fucked up. But the Louis C.K. part comes in because I was just like, you're being a real cunt right now. And but immediately, like I don't even think I got to the letter T,
Right.
and the manager's in the back shining a light at me, and I was like, oh, so somebody does work here. There we go. Okay. And so then I got off stage, and she was like, my office now. And I like followed her into the office. And she
Wait a minute,
like,
your
fired.
office for 6 people? I'd have been like, nobody even knew this just happened. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
And they're like, what's the point?
So I got fired for saying cunt on stage. And
Well, that's the lesson.
I had to deal with an angry phone call from Eric Yoder, and then I never worked at that place again, but now it's not even a place anymore.
There's a guy in Boston that used to, he would call women cunts all the time, but he would never call them cunts. He would say, ma'am, I believe you are acting in a cunt-like fashion.
That's the way to get around it.
Yeah.
He'd go, you're exhibiting cuntish behavior.
It's a very psychologist way to say it.
And then she's like, he called me a cunt. And he's like, I absolutely did not.
Right. I got witnesses right here that just told you I didn't. You know what I mean?
Your Honor.
Do you guys all know, Gary Mankey, right?
Yeah, in Orlando.
Yeah.
He was in Orlando, formerly whatever. Gary Mankey. Everyone has a Mankey story.
Yeah.
And as far as getting banned from a club, I had a roommate who no longer does comedy, but I sent him. Gary Mankey called me, and he goes, "I need someone to go and host at the Hartford Funny Bone." He would call me, and I'd send guys down for him sometimes. So I go, "My roommate, he's funny. He's real funny. He'll do it, right?" My roommate goes down there, and on the first night of shows, I guess he has a bad second, late Friday show. I guess he has a bad one. But he's only doing 10, 12 minutes, so who gives a fuck, right? But the next morning, he gets a call. He gets a call from the manager, Jackie. Do you remember Jackie anyway?
Yeah.
So he gets a call from Jackie, and Jackie goes, she's the manager of the Funny. She goes, "Hey, Sean, we got some really," the kid's name was Sean Donovan. He doesn't do comedy anymore, but he's got a good album. Anyway, he does, he gets the call from Jackie, and she goes, "Hey, listen, we got some really, really bad reviews from your performances last night, and we're not gonna have you come back again tonight. You're." And he goes, "So I'm fired?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're fired." And he goes, "All right." And he just gets in his car, leaves the hotel, gets in his car, starts driving towards Boston from Hartford. And he gets a call from Gary Menke, who also was, I guess, notified that there was a problem last night with the shows.
Right.
And Menke goes, "Hi, this is Gary Menke." And the kids never talk to Gary Menke. He doesn't know who he is or nothing.
Right.
"Hi, I'm the guy that hired you for the gig." And the kid's like, Sean goes, "Well, what do you want me to do? I'm fired. I'm on my way home. I'm leaving." He goes, "I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to get back in there tonight and turn it all around. Do what you do. Be a comedian. Make them laugh. Fucking kick ass. Blah, blah, blah." And Sean's like, "Oh, all right." So he gets off the highway, turns around, starts driving back towards the club. And then at the end of the conversation, Menke goes, "And by the way, why did you think you were fired?" And the kid goes, "Well, because Jackie, the manager, called me and told me I was fired." And he goes, Oh, you're fired." You have to turn around 3 fucking times.
Yo, wait a minute. So that was, wait a minute.
Probably why he's not doing comedy
Was that the
anymore.
guy that was hosting for us in Dayton? Was that your roommate at the time?
No, that's Alvin David. That's
Alvin. That's who that was.
That guy's a bunch of fun. He's never been fired. Really.
Yeah, that's who that was. Yeah. That was
It was a different roommate, but yeah, that really happened. It was so funny, especially when he told me the story.
right.
He turned around. He thought he had his job. He lost his job. Thought he had his job back. Then realized he had still no job.
Like, oh nah, yeah, you fired for real. Jackie called you. Yeah. So Hartford, I think Hartford closed.
Is that right?
Oh, really?
I think that was one of the clubs that was on the list when the pandemic first started. And I think that word came out, and I think DC Improv was the other.
No,
Man,
what?
I can't believe that the Improvs make too much money to get in. That's in the PPP
I'm sorry,
show.
not the Hartford Improv, the Hartford Funny Bone.
Right.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
DC
saying.
Improv,
But the
yeah.
the Improvs and the Funny Bones are all
Right.
in cahoots together.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're all independently owned and operated. So I would think they would let those independent managers like get small business loans and shit,
Right.
I think a lot of them, they're not just like independently owned and operated. It's like people that have stakes. Certain people have certain stakes in certain clubs. So
then that puts them above the limit or whatever, because they probably make millions of dollars.
Dave Stroop owns a certain portion of the Columbus Funny Bone. He's not an owner of the club, but he has a certain portion of a partnership or ownership. And the same thing with some of the other clubs. I think certain people can buy in and have a piece of ownership, but it doesn't make them independently operated. They're still all under the umbrella, most of them, of that Mitch and Murray and whoever the fuck Mitch and Murray. That's from a movie. Mitch and the other guy and the other guy.
Well, they have no idea
movie?
who's working there either. They just look at the numbers every quarter.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that's what I heard. I don't know if it's going to change up. I haven't sent any emails out. I don't think I'll be sending any emails out to try to get any work. But
yeah, I don't want to travel for anything. And I mean, the closest thing to me, other than me, is fucking Miami, and I don't want to go.
Right.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it'll get back to where it is. But right now, like even the shows that I did, the crowds weren't big enough to even. Like I think what I see a lot of clubs doing right now is they're booking
people like
shows.
me.
They're booking celebrity shows to fill the room up.
Oh no, that's not like
but
me
they
at
keep
all.
pushing those back though.
Right.
They keep doing that and then pushing them back, then doing that and pushing it back. Like this, just like the MLB and the NBA and the NFL. Like I'm not confident that anything's actually going to happen. I'm that guy right now that's not confident that any of this shit's actually going to happen. So why would I try and get a weekend somewhere that's not going to happen anyway?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't see football happening. I don't see football happening. I don't see basketball happening. I don't see any of that happening.
I mean, if they're telling us you can't be in a group more than 6 people, how are you going to fill a stadium of 60,000? even if you social distance, I mean, it's not going to be worth it to run the lights in the fucking place.
That right. I mean, I just don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I know that's what I've learned in the past 3 months is that I don't know.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that every day. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't
right
written
now.
any jokes. Like I said, I haven't written any jokes, but I taught myself how to play violin.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
Taught yourself.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. And I also speak a basic, like elementary Mandarin. I learned to speak Chinese during the thing. So I've spent my time well.
You're just
Play
trying
the
to
violin.
the
for
violin
us.
and Mandarin, violin and Mandarin. What are you trying to update your Tinder profile right now? What is going on? You just like, wow, look at this guy.
Play the violin.
And sing in Mandarin as you play the violin. I don't believe shit.
Play the violin in
right.
Hot
Mandarin.
cross buns.
I really feel like Mandarin, singing Mandarin and playing a banjo would have been a better combination.
That's a
I
little bit of
mean, you
everything.
know.
No,
I'll
I want to
admit
hear
this.
Mandarin notes.
I'll admit this. Both of those things are totally lies.
Okay. Okay.
But it sounded good. It
I
sounded
did
good though.
set off my
keep
record
it.
jerk off all-time high in a 24-hour period.
Oh, I don't even want to know if it's more than 8.
Because anyway, you can. Oh, you want to take bets on? You want to do an over/under?
I'm saying more than 7.
Huh?
I'm saying 7 or over. That's what I'm setting it at. If it's one day, if you set a record and you're going to bring that onto a Zoom thing, it better be at least 6.
Yeah. Well, 6 was I crushed that when I was 13 years old. What are you talking about?
13? You were talking on it at 13. This is getting weird. I don't. People probably left this live thing by now. We can really talk about this, but
no, that's the difference, and that's why I said this is the difference between white humor and black humor.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's gonna
like
get
this
dirty.
right here. Like y'all talk about shit like that, dudes be like, "Nah, I don't talk about that shit." Like,
no, you guys won't even eat popsicles around each other or hot dogs. We'll talk about the times we jerked off in a day. No, you won't do that.
It's like racism. If you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, right?
No, it's I mean, I used to do a bit about it. It's a cultural difference type deal.
Yeah.
Like,
We're gross.
like
white people are gross.
no, it's not. It's not even gross. It's white guys find sexual innuendo funny with one another, and black dudes don't think that shit funny at all. Like, and it's funny because
not say black guys do find sexual innuendo funny. You just don't find gay sexual innuendo.
Right there you go. That's what I'm saying. I said with one another. Right. Right.
What I'm talking about is not even gay. What I'm talking about masturbatory.
Yeah, but it's 4 dudes in
But
this
that's
conversation.
gay enough.
That's what I'm saying. It's 4 dudes in this conversation. So y'all think that shit is funny. Like, all 3 of y'all laugh at some shit like that. I would be like, what the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I've never thought about that before.
It's black people kryptonite.
No, right. So I'll give you a perfect example. So you guys have all been in situations where you guys have went out, hung out with your friends, got drunk, shit like that happens. Somebody fucking falls asleep. Y'all pull a camera out. Somebody got a picture with somebody's balls on their forehead. And y'all find that shit fucking hilarious, right? If a black dude fell asleep and he woke up, there was a picture of somebody's balls on his forehead, somebody got to die, if not everybody in that room, because that evidence cannot ever go out in public. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's done. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, what kind of gay shit were you doing? You know what I mean? It's like that can't be seen in day of life.
I never took it past conversation. Like, I've never done that shit or been in a room with that.
Right, but you might have been in a room.
But it doesn't
where
bother
somebody
me for someone to be like, I tugged on it today. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, and that's something I'd be like, I don't hear that shit. Like, so
You got daughters. Maybe it's that.
Wait, okay, Jay, let me ask you this. What age were you when you started when you started masturbating? Did you admit it to any of your friends? Did you ever talk about it at all, or did you deny it? Did anybody ever accuse you of masturbating and you were like, I don't do that?
I remember. This is what I remember. I remember being in middle school. I remember being in a rap battle. I remember my rap name at the time was like JMC or something crazy like that.
That's not
and
crazy.
the guy made an innuendo about Jolly Masturbation Crew or some shit. And that there was fighting words. I was like, bitch, I'll fuck you up. Like, it was like, what? It's like, just bringing that up was like, yo, I'll bust your ass for that. So it wasn't like anything we would ever talk about. That's not a conversation that black dudes have.
So, but that's what I'm saying, because if it's something that you don't talk about freely, then it seems like something that they would use to make fun of you, to be like, he probably jacks off. Like, what are you gonna jack off in there? Like, never any of that.
Because it's
and
like,
you were just like, no, I'm not.
Nah, because here's the thing. There's so many other things that we can talk about that can get on you about rather than like masturbation. Like, we got mom jokes, we got talking about your clothes, we got talking about your house, your car. We can talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
We have to have.
But I feel like
individual though.
I feel like
Masturbating is for anybody.
you're really limiting yourself by not bringing that into the fray.
All right, I'll put it like this.
So,
then.
yeah.
So I'll put it like this. How many black people that you know are just naturally funny? And then like go on, like when you go actually look at their set, how many of them on stage talking about their dick? They're not.
That's true.
It's a staple for a white comedian to have dick jokes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like
I already held my whole career even further today. I thought I was done anyway, and now you just ruined the rest of my life.
I'm just saying it's a cultural thing. It's not. I'm not saying it ain't funny. It's just that we don't
think that way.
If you ever around black guys and you start having that conversation, just watch them.
I'm gonna do it.
Watch their mannerisms.
I'm gonna do it.
Watch how they check out of that conversation. Watch how quick they check out of that conversation.
Maybe that's what it's been. Maybe that's been my problem the whole time. Maybe that's why.
Watch how many white dudes is laughing at that shit, and watch how many black dudes is checking out that conversation.
I don't have to watch. I've done the research. There's a website called healthystrokes.com, and it's it actually breaks down by race who jerks off the most and the least.
And the winner is
you really want the answers?
Yeah, sure.
Well, white people do. Jay's logging off. He's like, oh, I'm having technical difficulties. I don't want to hear this.
I believe it's Asians out front.
That's what I said. Yeah. I don't need a website for this. I just need to pay attention.
Hey man, listen. The opinions expressed by Tom Dustin is not the opinions of those that are on this podcast.
Why do you think he's learning Mandarin? By the way, too, is at the top of something.
Oh my gosh, man, that's fucking funny as hell, man. Listen, man, I think we're way past the time that we're supposed to be on this thing, man. But listen, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I'm gonna probably reach out to each one of y'all individually, try to bring y'all back on as well. We might have to do the same group, but we had to come up with a different structure because we did too much political shit this time.
Yeah, we did. We lost people early, and then we got.
I don't care about losing people.
I'm just kidding.
I don't either. Yeah. I'm just hanging out in the green room, dude.
Right. So I definitely want to try to bring us back on and do this again, man. But I appreciate the time. Real quick, if y'all want to, man, shout out your social media. Even when this shit get back up and running, man, we got to make sure we have people to know where we're going and what we're doing.
All right. My name is Mike Baldwin. It's like Alec Baldwin, except it's Mike. So just search me. Go me.
There you go.
They don't sell your information.
All right,
Tom.
It's instead of Google, it's DuckDuckGo.
That's the new one.
That's gonna be the new one. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'm Tom Dustin. Like Dustin Hoffman, except for Tom and reversed.
I got you. All right. And Todd.
You can Google me and whatever. Plus, I run Comedy Key West. If any comedians listen to your thing and they're worth half a shit, and if they're
it's a good gig if you go on vacation. It's a free vacation.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
Yeah.
Have you done it, Jay?
Nah, we were supposed to schedule it, and then our schedules got mixed up, so it didn't happen.
It's always something. There's always a hurricane or a fucking coronavirus.
It was the hurricane. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was Irma.
Yeah.
Bad news. Go ahead,
Bad
Todd.
bitch. Oh, Todd Riley. It's like Pat Riley. I couldn't think of one other than him. You guys gave me enough time to think of someone. It's all O'Reilly. No, Todd Riley, comedy Todd. Duck, duck, go. I know you can't. I can't keep TikTok. Not on there.
Nah,
No.
I do. I am on there.
Did you? I think Jay.
No, but I don't do the TikTok.
Talking about TikTok for what is like.
I just
jerking
put
off for
comedy
me.
clips up, but I get more views on that than I do on Instagram.
Yeah, I heard. I know. I heard. All right.
So if you got minute clips that you can put up, man, put them up on TikTok. People will look at them.
This has been a set. This was started off good.
Yeah, I got.
It started off good.
Gotcha, man.
No, thanks
Hey,
for
man,
having
y'all.
me, man.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Hold it down, man. I'm talk to y'all.
All right.
Love
Take
you.
it easy, Jay.
Peace, man.
Be careful, everybody. I love you.
All right, later.
Love you too. Later, Tom.
See you.